Hi, I'm Dr. Sally Foote, and welcome to today's topic, 5 tips for how to keep the visiting dog welcome in your home over the holidays. I'm a veterinarian and an animal behaviorist with over 35 years of practice experience, and my focus is on preventing behavior problems in our dogs and cats, as well as low-stress veterinary care that you can do at the veterinary clinic as well as for home care. So I have here a handout. And I will have this on my website, drsallyjfoote.com, under the Pet Owners Resources tab. You can find it for download. But these are my 5 tips for keeping visiting dogs welcome. So the number 1 tip is that visiting dogs need to bring their own bed, their own toys, their own food, and their own food dishes to eat out of. And the reason why is that dogs do not share well. So when the visiting dog comes over, and if we don't have all these individual items for the visiting dog, he's going to start using or going into some of the home-based dogs' bowl and beds. And this is then what sets up the home-based dog for wanting to guard, and this is called resource guarding over these items to the visiting dog. Now, resource guarding is not only the bite or bite attempt or snarling, it also starts at where the home-based dog, and it could also be the visiting dog, is resource guarding back on the home-based dog, but primarily it's usually the home-based dog is hovering over the food dish, like when the home-based dog walks by the food dish, the visiting dog walks by the food dish, the home-based dog stands there hovering his head over, and he just kind of stops eating and looks at the visiting dog. Or when they're having a chew bone or a stuffed toy, the home-based dog will pick up that toy and keep moving around the house, taking the toy like away from the general area, or going to the visiting dog and taking those toys away. There may also be that growling or kind of hovering the body over the toy. And lastly, in the beds. If the home-based dog is laying in a bed or on a couch, remember these furniture are resting places for these dogs. They see them like their own bed. And the visiting dog walks by. Now, the home-based dog may be growling or staring at this visiting dog, and that is also a level of resource guarding. So if the visiting dog comes with all of their own items, and we set them up in separate areas from the home-based dog, now the 2 dogs are not, challenging each other or wanting to get into each other's things. Pick up all the toys and put them in a toy box and stick them in a closet. When it comes to toy time, you can give each dog his own toy in his own area and then pick them up and put them away. This is what really reduces and decreases a lot of the reasons why we have the dogs biting on each other or suddenly lunging up on each other. Okay, second tip, keep the dogs out of the kitchen, keep them out of the television room, and away from the front door when people are coming in and going in and out. Now remember, the kitchen is where the food is, and where the food is, that's where the people are. When the people are laughing and they're active and the dogs are underfoot, and then there's food, and the food dropped on the floor or sneaking it to the dog, this is where we can have then that food resource guarding. So keep the dogs out of the kitchen. The TV room, a lot of noise, the TVs are noisy. To dogs, these flat screen TVs look like a big window, and so that can activate barking and reactivity at football games or really active video games or things like that. Secondly, in the TV room, oftentimes there's food. People are having snacks, right? And the people are active. They're jumping up and down, they're yelling. So all of that stimulus is a lot for the dogs, and they can then redirect on each other. They're building anxiety on the humans, maybe directed for one dog against the other dog. So keep the dogs out of the TV room. And lastly, where people come in and out of the front door, that front door area, of people, the door opening and closing and people crossing through, a lot of dogs are barking. And so if we have 2 dogs now that are barking or jumping at the door, the one dog may turn on the other dog as people are coming through the door just because of the stimulus and agitation around that area. So keep the dogs away. Put up a baby gate, just close the dogs off before you allow people in the house. Number 3, maintain those rituals, routines, and schedules. If your dog is accustomed to you getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, feeding them, taking them out on a walk, even though it's vacation week for you and you're visiting your in-laws or your family, still get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, take that dog out for a walk, feed him then. These keeping routines the same gives dogs a lot of security. It really helps to decrease any kind of anxiety. And it also helps you to see, like, how well is my dog eating? How well is his health? So maintain those schedules for walks, for play, and for feeding. Number 4, if you have children under the age of 6, it's really important that we separate the children from the dogs, especially when the children are active. When children are under the age of 6, they don't have quite that ability to put together the words people say and the physical action that we've just asked the child to not do. For example, don't hug the dog. Okay, they can repeat those words back, don't hug the dog. But then what do? They go over to the dog and they hug the dog because they can't put together that the words don't hug the dog means don't put your arms around his neck and to hug him. They might have been accustomed to doing that to their own house dog, so now they're going to do it to the visiting dog. And hugs, especially with highly active children, getting close to the face. Dogs don't like this. They don't like the face-to-face greeting. Never bother a dog when he's sleeping. Do not hug a dog when he's sleeping. Very common way children are bitten, especially in the face. So if we use a baby gate, where especially when the kids are active, they want to yell, or it's maybe opening present time or things like this, and keep the dog on the other side of the gate, toss the dog a few rewards on the other side of the gate. That will help to ensure safety, as well as the dogs not being so agitated about all this noise and stimulus from the young children. Lastly, if that dog is hiding, if he's like underneath the kitchen table, if he is like against the wall next to the recliner, if he's laying up on the couch with his back against the couch and like right up against that arm of the couch, sometimes this is like hiding, they're avoiding, they don't want people around them. And so we want to leave the dog alone. If the dog is growling, you want to immediately call the dog away from whatever is near the dog, or if someone approached the dog and he started to growl, say, get away from the dog, now let's get the dog off the couch and get him in his own area. So get the dog set up in his own area and don't bother the dog. It's really important to leave them alone, especially when we have older dogs. If we have dogs over the age of 7 for our average middle-sized dog and large breed dogs, over the age of 10 certainly for the smaller breed dogs. Many of these dogs have chronic pain from bad teeth, from arthritis, and so they're having to get up and move around a lot in the day. They may be using their body more, so they're actually getting a little more achy and sore, especially at night. Number 2, chronic pain increases their sensitivity to noise. And so they may be getting more irritable because it is noisier with more people visiting in the home. So be sure for our older pets, we're keeping them up on any pain relief medication, their joint supplement, and give them quiet time, give them quiet space. Now all these things, if you follow them, will really help to decrease or prevent problems like dog fights and or bites to people. And enjoy the time you do have with your pet. When you take them out on a walk, enjoy that. Maybe ask one of your grandkids to go along with you on the walk as a way to have time together with the dog. Take them out in the yard with a couple of balls to play fetch with, and have the dog actively moving while the kids are having some activity, But thank you very much. I hope you all have a really good holiday season this year, and take care.